Before I go any further, I found something. It's back. I'm so happy I found it. Yes, the lady who is auditioning to be the next Mrs. Trump has elevated her position. Apart from being a pretty below average lawyer, she's now an official Trump spokesperson, which means she gets to appear on Fox News and Newsmax, just buttering the backside of her former employee.
So, you know, you walk in and it's really actually something surreal. You feel like you're in the Twilight Zone. Today, I walked in and the first person that caught my eye was everybody from Greg Kelly on the right to George Conway on the left, Kaylin Collins sitting there. And, you know, I appreciate that they all want to act journalistic in those moments. I'm sitting there and I'm looking, but they're snarking, and it's a very strange feeling.
So you do have to feel sorry for her. Parking lot habber. She had her opportunity and she's now in a position where I suspect more people have more respect for Stormy Daniels than they do for Yabba Dabba Doo.
It's unbelievable. And when anything salacious happens, all you hear is the clicking of, you know, the keyboards. But when actual law and facts are discussed, it's...
I do have a suggestion, by the way, for Alina Yabba Dabba Doo. If she's so upset with the current situation in court, perhaps she should become the defense counsel. And while she's at it, she can always cite Melania Trump's early modeling career. She's not very happy with the whole Stormy Daniels picture.
It's a very strange thing.
Does the judge seem like he's in control of the courtroom?
He is definitely commanding. You can tell that he is outspoken. You can tell that he has an opinion. In front of a jury, do I think it's appropriate? No. You have a jury. You have to be very careful of how much you interrupt, how much you condemn one side over the other. But I've seen this myself. They don't care. They care about swaying them, and that's one way to sway a jury. Just because you have a jury doesn't mean that the judge doesn't show control and push them towards the right direction.
And the jury's engaged. They're paying attention to the facts.
Sometimes. I think with the last testimony, I saw some giggles, obviously, and I don't want to speak too much about a jury sitting on a trial.
Good you on in America, just going through the last 24 hours of what's gone on in the Trump crazy world. And if you hate Fox News, this place is for you. Laura Ingraham is a bit upset with the word orange turd. If I say to you, well, is there any other suggestion? If I say to you the word orange turd, what is your first thought? Mine as well.
You notice that Anderson Cooper really seemed to relish saying orange turd. How many times did he say it? Well, we didn't have the drinking game going, but we might as well have. Orange turd, orange turd, orange turd.
That's right. That's how Donald Trump's day went today. The woman he has paid more money to than any woman he hasn't married, criminal defense attorney Susan Necheles, repeatedly called her client Donald Trump the orange turd on what she thought was an effective cross-examination of Stormy Daniels. So imagine Donald Trump sitting in that courtroom today, slumped in his chair, leaving his eyes closed for long stretches, being forced to listen with eyes closed or eyes open to one of his criminal defense lawyers on whom he has lavished money provided by his political contributors. Listen to her repeatedly call him the orange turd. And Donald Trump is, of course, the most vain human being who has ever entered that courthouse.
Need your help before we continue with Ingraham. I could use Google, but I'll rely on you. Can somebody in the comment section tell me what shrew means? Does it apply to Melania Trump? Because she's been pretty busy.
Looking at our first lady like that and having that image.
The New York Post calls it the Oval Office and menage a Trump.
Oh, yeah.
A Trump spokesman is also defending the racy photos.
Their celebration of the human body is art.
Now, at various points in her 2 days on the stand and in other exhibits entered into evidence, Daniels comes across as not only an angry shrew, but an angry shrew who's also an extortionist.
This case is attracting all of the huge, big legal experts, all of those who know so much about the law you could fit it all onto the prick of a pin and still have 99% of circumference space left. Here's Winebox.
Tell you, Laura, this woman, there's something off about her. There really is. So everything about this was a lie. And I'll tell you what was most interesting, too. was that she started off by saying, I was in 200 porn films and I also directed and acted in another 150. And you're saying to yourself, this is a star witness?
Where exactly is Rick Scott in charge? Where is he the big boss? Because wherever it was, clearly didn't matter today because he rocked up to court to whinge and whine. Why was he there? Anybody? Comment section, please, because I'm clueless.
No.
Did it have anything to do with the gag order, you being here today?
No, I'm fed up. I watched what happened to me and my company. I've watched what's happened. I've talked to business.
Apologies for interrupting Dick Scott mid-sentence, but he did mention something there, and I think, oh, we should just go back in history. Then we'll go back to the garbage he was talking about.
It is one of the biggest criminal investigations of an American corporation ever.
We're executing a search warrant.
In the past few months, hundreds of federal agents have raided at least 70 of Columbia's hospitals and offices in 7 states.
Rick Scott promised explosive growth to shareholders, but to insiders, Rick Scott could be ruthless.
They seem to care more about profits than medicine.
Good old-fashioned fraud, lying for money. Over the last decade, Columbia has made its stockholders and executives rich.
The company cheated the Medicare program, and they knew what they were doing.
Regularly filing false Medicare reports and overcharging the government.
Charging the government for everything from Kentucky Derby tickets to country club memberships.
False claims submitted to the government year after year over the course of hundreds of hospitals. Their promotions depended on it. Their bonuses depended on it.
For-profit hospital chain HCA, formerly called Columbia HCA, will plead guilty to criminal conduct.
$745 million to settle charges of fraud in Medicare billing.
Rick Scott and 5 other top corporate executives have resigned. And federal investigators told ABC News today that Scott is now considered a prime target of the investigation. Scott could not be reached for comment.
People over the years, what's happened to them when you have political persecution. And now what I've watched what President Trump has done with all these cases. This is just simply, they don't want this guy on the ballot. I mean,
I'm no medical person, but I do make a diagnosis with Lara Trump. She has hearing problems. Nepo Trump never hears herself.
Barack Obama, Joe Biden, now Hillary Clinton saying something to the effect of if Trump loses, he will not accept the results. Is that coordinated?
I think, isn't it all coordinated? Isn't all of this stuff coming from one place? It's pretty obvious that Donald Trump does accept election results, even despite the fact that it was a very questionable election in 2020, because Joe Biden is unfortunately sitting